Welcome to Done with Debauchery, a sobriety and wellness podcast where you'll hear honest experiences about navigating life and relationships without alcohol, how to pursue your own personal wellness journey, and share intimate conversations with special guests. I'm your host, Keisha Scott. Hello, and welcome back to Done with Debauchery. Can you believe that Sober October is only a few days away? This means two things. One, I made it through my first sober girl summer. This is a really big accomplishment for me because last year during the summer was when I broke my 99-day sobriety streak, which at the time was my longest amount of time that I had been sober. So to make it through the summer, all the cottage weekends, all the patios with friends, and everything in between is a really big deal, and I feel really proud of myself. I want to say congrats to all my sober people who made it through the summer without drinking. I see you, and I'm proud of you. And if you didn't make it through, that's okay too. Don't beat yourself up over the things you can't change, but use them as a learning experience on how to succeed moving forward. The second thing that Sober October means is that I need to know what fall mocktails you're going to be drinking. I bought a pack of Libra's non-alcoholic pumpkin beer that Natalie and I talked about in last week's episode. Even though I'm not really a huge beer drinker, I love pumpkin and I will take literally any excuse to try a new non-alcoholic drink. So stand by for my review on the pumpkin beer. Follow me on Instagram because I may or may not try and recreate some other fall mocktails that I saw on TikTok. And speaking of mocktails and non-alcoholic cocktails, this week my special guest is Nick Devine. Nick is the co-founder of Edna's, a new Canadian non-alcoholic cocktail company that I'm currently obsessed with. Let's get into it. Nick Devine, welcome to Done with Debauchery.
Nice. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited about our conversation. I know you're doing something really important. You are the co-founder of a new Canadian non-alcoholic cocktail company called Edna's, where, yeah, you're essentially the mastermind behind creating these delicious non-alcoholic drink options. I'd love to know a little more about your background, where you're located, and what inspired you to create Edna's.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's been an interesting story. I've been basically a bartender for probably about 25 years, something like that, from England originally. But bartended around the world in the States and ended up in Vancouver. And I've been here for about, 17 years, 18 years, something like that. And in the bartending world here, created quite a name for myself, and especially in the sort of revolution of the cocktail in some ways in Vancouver and the current boom that it's been in for the last 20 years. I was definitely part of that. It was an exciting time, but I think every bartender at some point needs to do something else. The nights can get long, things like that.
I've done bottle service for years in what feels like another life, but I'm familiar with those late nights.
Some people can do it forever, and I respect the hell out of them. But I think I reached my point where I needed some change. Started actually a beer cocktail company 7 years ago, which was more like low ABV.
Okay.
Using beer as a base to make cocktails. I ran into some issues with the government about a categorization taxation thing, basically put me out of business before it got off the ground, really. A bit bitter about that. But that's kind of, it's funny that was the basis for how Edna's came about, because I used a lot of what I learned in that experience to create Edna's. And I've seen the non-alcoholic sector kind of emerging for quite a while. I tried to do Edna's about 3 years ago. But COVID kind of got in the way a little bit, and I lost my original business partner, got cold feet. Anyway, it was almost done and dusted. I couldn't find anyone to do it with me. And then an old friend of mine, another guy called Nick, who's from Britain as well, just fuse things. Got together, and he loved the idea, and here we are. We started selling about 6 months ago. So yeah, just seeing that gap in the non-alc market and having something really premium and high quality that
Yeah.
because I find a lot of the non-alcoholic cocktails aren't really, they're fruit juice and soda. And I wanted to create something that was like closer to the real thing. So I went the extra mile. Like I use authentic spirit extracts in there, so you get the aroma. I use drinking vinegars to create bite and acidity, and yeah, all natural, nothing artificial, no preservatives, anything like that. And Edna's was born. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think that you made such a good point about this like non-alcoholic sector has really been exploding over the last few years. And I think part of that is like the sobriety movement and a lot of people kind of questioning their relationship with alcohol. So there is such a huge market of people who maybe don't want to cut out alcohol completely. And like I know that you mentioned on the labeling that you can also use your drinks as a mixer, but they are delicious on their own. So you have four
Yeah.
flavors, right?
That's right. So yeah, that was a big important thing to me because I mean, obviously, first and foremost, it's a standalone non-alcoholic cocktail, that's got like structure, a bit of character, a little bit of depth. So it's,
Yeah.
it's an elevated non-alcoholic experience. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is a business. Why would I not cater to all the other people as well, and people that necessarily cutting down so they can add their own quality or quantity of liquor and control that aspect. So that's why our drinks are very full flavored too, so they can withstand that dilution and still hold their integrity.
Yeah, and you're not alienating either group, which I really like because there's not a lot of non-alcoholic options that can service both groups of people. It's either you're getting this non-alcoholic cocktail, it's a non-alcoholic beer, and like that is what it is. So I think that for people that are sober curious and maybe just kind of starting to go into that sober lifestyle, it's a beautiful option for them to have too.
Absolutely. And so that's why I just kind of wanted to cover all bases, basically. So yeah, to answer your question, we do have a line of four flavors. They all follow a similar formulation. And yeah, so they're all highball style. So there's a Paloma, which is a tequila-based cocktail with grapefruit and lime. A mojito that pretty much everyone's familiar with that one. It's got real rum extract, lime, and genuine Cuban mint in there. And then we just brought out more recently cucumber gin Collins, and also a whiskey mule as well. So that's got a bit of ginger, lime, and a little aroma of bourbon. So when we use those spirit extracts, it's really just it's like a little whiff on the top, a little bit of aroma. It just adds a little extra to it. So I think, I mean, I do drink. I try to cut down when I can, but I really wanted to create something that was just a little bit more for the non-alcoholic person. That's more than just a fruit juice and soda. So
Yeah,
why I
yeah,
kind of
absolutely. And I did notice that as well. Like, as I mentioned to you before we started recording, I'm in Toronto. So currently you're in Vancouver. That's primarily where Edna's is available. And I think also in Montreal, you can be bought at a
there's one
non-alcoholic
store that
store.
has it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
getting
always on their website. So
we're getting close to being out there. We're working hard to get with the national distributor. So once that happens, which is apparently soon, but one thing I've realized in this business, nothing when they say soon, it's
sure.
never that soon.
Yeah, so I kind of went through that where I was seeing you on Instagram. I was seeing so many people. There's a really big non-alcoholic community in BC. So I was seeing everybody posting these, and I was like, I want to fucking try Edna's, and I can't get them here. So I actually did an order from Sensorium in BC in order to try your drinks. Like I had been on the hunt all summer. And the ones I've tried so far are Mojito and Paloma. And I poured the Paloma over ice. And I was actually shocked at the flavor profile. Like it was so authentic tasting. It had that perfect little bit of like tartness, but it almost did taste like there was alcohol in it. Like I wasn't just drinking a grapefruit juice.
Yeah, it can fool you, and that's the little bit of use of using the dealcoholized spirit extracts and a mixture of that with the drinking vinegars. It creates that bite that is kind of moorish, makes you want to go
Yeah.
back for another sip, kind of in the same way that alcohol leaves you with that.
Yeah, you definitely like feel it on the tongue. So You did mention that you do drink. Was your relationship with alcohol at all an influence in the idea of Edna's?
I think I think more actually my wife stopped drinking. She stopped drinking just yeah, she was just trying it out and then she was like, oh this not hangover thing's quite cool. And she
Yeah.
found she was more productive and doing a lot more. And my brother-in-law too doesn't drink. He just decided enough's enough. I think it's been about 8 years. And I just thought I just kind of saw this and I was just it was really kind of for them and for people like them, like just to create something because there wasn't really anything in the market. Certainly, alcoholic, non-alcoholic beers have really, I think they're out of all the alcohols doing their non-alc
Mm.
versions. I think the beers are furthest ahead. I think wines have got a bit of a way to go, but I think there's some
Yeah.
better ones coming out. But the RTD, the ready to drinks, which I get, we'd fall into that category. I've just found there's a couple out there, but very different approach to what we've done. They're quite vodka soda-y in a way. They're very watery,
Yeah.
and they have a little subtle flavors, and nothing wrong with that. That's their approach. They also do a lot of. Everyone seems to want to do like no sugar and stuff like that, and I'm like,
Hmm.
no sugar to me doesn't taste good. So we use real cane sugar in our drinks, and we don't
Yeah, you can get
shy
that like
away from it.
artificial kind of taste when you go that route.
People want different things, but I think we just wanted to situate ourselves as like the premium. This is tastes like close to the real thing, and I think we've succeeded. I hope we have. People tell
Yeah,
us.
I think so at least. Like I literally like sought out the company and made an order from another province, like paid shipping just to try it because not only like do the flavors really resonate with me. I love like a pre-made cocktail like that in the summer. I want to have a mojito and I don't want to be sitting there muddling the mint by myself. Like it's just too much work.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, the marketing as well is beautiful. Like your design of your cans is just like very bright. It's kind of like a little like retro feeling. So
yeah, we had some fun with that. That all kind of came. I worked with a close friend of mine here who's a designer to do the logo and things like that. And I had a very good idea of what I wanted, and I wanted that old world feel. And Edna's the name where it came from and how it feels. It feels old fashioned.
yeah, it sounds like a grandma's name.
No offense to anyone called Edna out there.
Yeah.
I mean it in a complimentary way. And we just loved the name, and it kind of just suited it. It actually comes from Cockney rhyming slang, if you wondered. So
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that from the movies like Snatch, but it's an East London way of talk where they rhyme things. So
Okay.
Edna is actually short for beverage. So it's Dame Edna Everage, rhymes with beverage, Edna for short. It's not a very commonly used one, but that's where it came from.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that is, I love like a little history or meaning behind a name. So like your mom, your grandma's name's not Edna.
No, I do know one Edna, but it's not named after
You can just tell her you named it after her. I'm sure she'll appreciate it.
for sure.
And so right now you're primarily being sold in like kind of like bottle shops or a liquor store. Do you think there is a possibility of getting Edna into like bars, restaurants, like concert venues, places like that? Because I feel like there's such a
Absolutely.
demand.
I mean, you're in Toronto, so I mean, Canada's such an enormous country. It's I
Mhm.
actually look at it on a map when we put the little tags on our website, and they're all in BC. I get that, and there's one in Montreal, and then it
Yeah.
just made me realize, well, that's really far away.
Yeah.
We should get there soon. When we get that national distributor, we're hoping to be in more stores out there towards the end of the year. So
Awesome.
not too far away. But forgotten what your question was there. I went off on
Um,
a
I think about going from like not just like the ready to drink at home, but be available in like these other venues where there really is like a lack of non-alcoholic options. Like I
yes,
went to a TFC game here, which is like our Toronto Football Club soccer game.
yes.
And the only non-alcoholic option they had was a sparkling water, and I had to walk like 2 miles to the other end of the stadium to get it. Whereas like I'm one person in a group of 30,000, like there has to be more people there like looking for something non-alcoholic.
And there is, and we've realized that. I mean, we're a very small team right now. It's pretty much just me as the main person doing things. I've got my business partner helps with the whole financial side, and I've got someone doing social media and stuff like that. But really, we're a very small team. So it's just trying to get out there at the moment.
Sure.
We've been concentrating on BC because that's what's close and local. But in terms of where we're at, we're very successful in breweries. Um,
Okay, cool.
fast moving pubs and clubs that they think, oh, you know, if you're making a non-alcoholic mojito, that's taking them 2 minutes time, 2 minutes
Hmm.
to make one, whereas can and its quality, you know.
Yeah.
So we've had some success there too. We've done some festivals and things like that. At Base Coast, they sold out, and they can't wait to have us back next year. So there's lots of that. So we're seeing all different kinds of places take it on. And as you said, liquor stores has been a good one for retail, but also other grocery stores. Just got listed with London Drugs.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. So that puts us all the way across to as far as Winnipeg, I think.
I'm from Winnipeg, actually.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I grew up
Uh,
there.
so yeah, that's super exciting for us, and we're hoping to get into more retails. But yeah, we've been doing well at events, festivals, nightclubs. I actually just did a punk rock festival on Sunday, and
Cool.
yeah, so I've just been trying to hit as many different demographics as I can this
Yeah.
summer, getting it out there. And it was funny. All the old punk rockers, they were digging the Ednas. A lot of them,
Who are sober now because they partied too hard.
they were like, "Oh, this is great. Where can I get this?" And we're like, "Yeah." So it's been a really exciting summer for us. We've only been selling 5 to 6 months. So how far we've got, we're obviously very proud to have gotten there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh,
That's
thank you so
really
much.
exciting. And yeah, what you're doing is also like, it means like so much. I think, even coming from somebody who does drink, the fact that you are aware of this lack in the industry where we're looking for these non-alcoholic options that are delicious, easily accessible. Yeah, so thank you so much for what you're doing.
Oh, no worries at all. And we're hoping to have, yeah, I'm excited to do new flavors and things like that. I think we're just trying to I think this year we're just concentrating on getting the hang of the 4 flavors that we do have, and
Yeah.
just establishing them more, and obviously getting it out to the rest of Canada is very important to us. And even, yeah, delving into the States at some point is definitely on the cards.
Yeah, so right now it's strictly Canadian, and then you're branching out across the country is like
Yes, and yeah, we're hoping soon to have. I just don't want to say a date because then I have to stick to it, and then people will.
sure.
But we're a couple of weeks away from getting listed, I think,
That's
nationally, and
amazing.
then stores and retail stores across Canada will be able to order through this company.
Yeah.
Just don't want to say it yet because knock on wood and all that.
Sure. And so you mentioned that you had tried to start a low alcohol beer company before Edna's and it was unsuccessful. There was some red tape that you were trying to get through. Did you face those same kind of challenges with a non-alcoholic, or was it because there was that low alcohol content?
Yeah, so I'm part of a brewery here in Vancouver, as well as the restaurants that I'm still kind of involved in. I'm no longer operational for a few years now. But yeah, when we first came out, we were very ahead of the curve, and I think that we're the same as Ontario and BC. It's all government controlled.
Mm-hmm.
They were a bit concerned that, oh, this isn't a beer, but it was beer based, and then
Okay.
it caused a lot of issues. They didn't know what it was, and they couldn't categorize it. It ended up coming down to a taxation thing. Basically, they ended up being a bit greedy, you know,
Mm.
as you expect them to. Uh, but it put me in a situation. Now it's funny that these days every brewery's got some sort of like cocktail beer out.
Yeah.
Well,
A
thanks. Thanks
Radler
for
or
that, government.
whatever.
So they screwed me. So in a way, the non-alc thing was kind of a grudge thing for me as well.
Yeah, you're like, I'm doing this.
Because I just don't want to deal with it. And that's the beauty about non-alc, is that I don't have to deal with any of that anymore. Like even going to this festival on Sunday, all the breweries that were there, they all had the serving it right cards, and they had to fill out all these forms and all of that.
Mm.
I didn't have to do any of it. So it was
Yeah.
actually, yeah, it was a joy.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of wondering, like, it's more complicated than to bring an alcoholic beverage to market than non-alcoholic. I wasn't sure if the process
Yeah,
was similar.
a lot less hoops to jump through, and the
Yeah.
beauty is I can sell it anywhere to anyone, and I don't have to worry about it. So it's been
Yeah,
really
grocery
lovely.
stores. Yeah, London Drugs. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we're hoping to get out your way soon.
I would love that. I will be keeping an eye out for sure. So if someone listening wants to follow along with Edna's or try one of your drinks, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so we busy every day trying to get things to happen. We actually just starting. It should be launching this week. Is an e-commerce page, so you can actually buy it direct from our website.
Ooh.
We're working on. I'm not sure where we're at because someone else is dealing with it, but we're working on getting flat rates. We've certainly achieved that in BC, but we want to try and get flat rates for the rest of Canada if we can, to just try and keep the shipping down for anyone that does want to buy it directly from the website. If not, there's a lot of, as you alluded to earlier, sensorium.com has been a great partner for us. Also AF Bev, that's based here. There's a company called ClearSips in Ontario that stock us also. So yeah, having those partners has been great for us to get it out there. And yeah, we're just looking forward to being able to provide it to everyone. But yeah, at Edna's Cocktails is our handle for all socials.
And then your website is ednascocktails.com.
That's right. And we've got all the where to buy map on there, and everything's on there, all the information. If not, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to answer questions as they come in.
I will be refreshing that map to see when Toronto is now on there.
Yeah, I've got a few people I know in Toronto from being in the restaurant business here in Vancouver, who, people go back and forth, it seems, quite often.
Yeah.
So there's a few people out there asking for it. It needs to be affordable for them to stop.
Of course, yeah, of course. I'm just teasing.
To ship out small amounts to people in Ontario just doesn't make financial sense for anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where the national distributor comes in, and hopefully we're only a couple of weeks away. That's what I've been told. Sure. Just don't hold me to it if it's a little longer.
Okay, I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for having me. Cheers, Keisha.
This is Keisha signing off on another episode of Done with Debauchery. If you liked what you heard, please share and subscribe. You can also find me at donewithdebauchery.com or follow along on Instagram at donewithdebauchery. Thanks for listening.